Hello Malaysians, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much. Now in today's video I would like to explain what I believe to be 5 reasons why Parti Islam Malaysia can get away by saying all sort of very toxic things like calling the DAP and Pakatan Harapan as penjajah. Now in politics it's okay for you to actually demonize your opponent in a manner of their different ideologies, but calling the other parties like PH and DAP as musuh Islam, as nak menghapuskan Islam, meaning wanting to destroy Islam, this is something which is very, very serious. Now the question here is that how is this not seditious, and how is it that this can be tolerated, seemingly so, by the people of Malaysia? Now the first reason that I can surmise is that of the Malays themselves. Now it is a pity that the Malays have been educated in a religious construct and in a religious education of we against them. This is a common narrative in the learning of religion from when the Malays were very small, meaning very young, and until they are older also the narrative is the same when they go to the mosque. And those who are already retired and wanting to learn about Islam again so that they can prepare to meet their maker, they hire ustaz who also talks about this kind of narrative. The safest Islamic narrative is to stay away and to always look upon the others as a kind of enemy. And so when PAS puts up the idea that DAP, who consists mainly of the non-Malays, then it was easy to accept that these are the enemies. But of course PAS have to show that other people like the Muslims and the Malays who support the DAP and also are in the coalition with the DAP, they are the enablers of this penjajah who is out to destroy Islam. So that is one explanation. Now the second explanation is also quite disturbing, which is the support from the non-Malays. Now of course the non-Malays or the non-Muslim do not generally support whatever Hadi Awang says, but we have to ask the question, what is MIPP doing with the Perikatan Nasional that has PAS as its main party, and Hadi Awang making all these kind of statements like Kuasa Melayu Islam and this penjajah narrative? Why is the MIPP supporting this? Then we have Gerakan, a party that's supposed to be started by academics, people with rational thinking. They are also supporting. To them, oh, this is just one ideology against another. I'm sorry, it's not an ideology to demonize someone to the level that they are accused of trying to destroy Islam. That is not politics. That is pure toxicity. So we have the non-Malays, and now we have also the MCA and the MIC, presumably, supporting such things. Although a few of the leaders of the MCA have shown disgust at this a kind of narrative. So that's the second reason. Now the third reason I can think of is because Barisan Nasional with UMNO is very desperate. They are desperate to win Malaysia, but they are not strong enough. They may look strong in Johor, they may look strong in Negeri Sembilan, but in truth they are not. Why else would they be willing to work with another party that they fought against? First, they work with Pakatan Harapan in the government. because they are not strong enough to become government. They only have 27 seats. Then they look towards Perikatan Nasional, even though they don't need Perikatan Nasional in Johor, but they accepted the help. Now, in Melaka, they are having to pay the debt to Parti Islam Malaysia. So it shows that Barisan Nasional are also supporting Parti Islam Malaysia, because they themselves did not say anything against this penjajah narrative. So that is the third reason. Now the fourth reason is that there's hardly any academic who is actually countering what Hadi Awang is saying. Hadi Awang is using history, is using religion in order to justify his claim. He's using the Quranic verses. But there are no academics that we have in our public university, professors of history, professors of anthropology, of political science, all the social science professors, there are none to actually challenge Hadi on this matter. Now, fifth, we have the religious institution, which is the religious department, which is also JAKIM, which is also all those muftis. They are the ones who is supposed to be the guardians of Islam, and Hadi has just used Quranic messages to paint rakyat Malaysia, or citizens of Malaysia, as enemies of Islam, as colonizers. Why are they not saying anything? Maybe they say, oh, this is because he's a politician. No, he's a politician, yes, but he is also a Tok Guru. He is teaching Islam. He is teaching Muslims. And he is using the Quran. Why is it that these leaders who are the religious leaders of our country, that is supposed to be the guardians of Islam, does Islam support this narrative? Does Islam agree with this Hadi narrative? Just because Hadi is a religious, so-called religious teacher, I don't consider him a scholar, then you cannot say that what he says is true all the time and every time. So there needs to be a counter response, but none seems to be forthcoming from the Mufti officials as well as the religious institutions of this country. Now, from the YouTube, I can only see Dr. Abu Hafiz, who's a assistant lecturer, assistant professor from International Islamic University, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he has given a counter response. There is also Ustad Shihabuddin, who always talks about religious issues, and he is also countering what Hadi is saying, because he says this is responsibility, because the verses that is used is irresponsible. And I acknowledge his response to that. And so here is the reason why Malaysia is where it is. We have not only the Malays who I would say having problems learning their own religion and choosing only to totally trust their religious teachers, whoever they are, and their conservatism seems to be their own play safe methodology for this world and in the hereafter. But then we also have the non-Malays who is supporting it for a meager reward of one position or two position, but they are also enabling. And we also have the Barisan Nasional, who shouts that they are strong, but actually they are weak, because they are also supporting this party in terms of their working relationship, and they have no response at all to what Hadi is putting out. If they did respond, then we can say that they are not really party to that. And we have also the academics who are forever silent. Are they also conservatives and believe in Hadi Awang? I'm not surprised if they do. because most of these professors are already old, and they now have to learn religion, and they trust people who have religious credentials to put out a certain religious proclamation, we call it, or ijtihad. Well, then they are not in use for that. Or some of these academics are very frightened because if PAS comes to power, then their contracts may not be renewed, something like that, perhaps. We also have the Mufti, and I wonder if the Mufti actually understands the religion enough to counter Hadi Awang, which is actually impossible. They should know better. Or are they also afraid that PAS and UMNO will sweep over their state, and also their careers are on the line? Is this the reason? So with that, I hope Malaysians can understand that we are in a dire situation. We need to work together to counter this narrative on our own, and we need to figure it out very quickly. With that, thank you very much. My fellow Malaysians, are we ready for a BN-PN takeover of Malaysia? My fellow Malaysians, are we ready for BN-PN to divide Malaysia? Come and join me in a seminar of Retaking Malaysia, where together we can fight for our home once and for all.